You know the question. Someone finds out you've been single for a while, maybe a long while, and you can see it in their face before they even say it. Why are you still single? As if singleness is a problem to be solved. A waiting room you're stuck in. A malfunction in an otherwise functional person. But what if the psychology behind staying single is far more layered, more intentional, and in many cases, far more self-aware, than the people asking that question ever consider? This video is not about fixing anything. It's about understanding what's actually going on in the minds and lives of people who stay single, and why it almost never comes down to what most people assume. Reason 1, their standards are genuinely high, and they've stopped apologizing for it. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of people who stay single for long periods. Society frames high standards as arrogance, or as unrealistic fantasy, or as a convenient excuse. But the psychological reality is different. People who have done real self-reflection, who know who they are, what they need, and what a healthy relationship actually requires, develop a clear internal sense of compatibility that is very difficult to fake your way past. They've often been in relationships that didn't work, and they learned from them. The standard isn't a wall. It's a compass. And they'd rather be alone than ignore it. Reason 2, they genuinely enjoy being alone. Not as a coping mechanism. Not as a cover for loneliness. As an actual, authentic source of energy, creativity, and peace. Research on introversion and solitude consistently shows that people who are highly comfortable alone develop richer inner lives, stronger self-knowledge, and more stable emotional baselines than people who need constant social contact to feel okay. When you genuinely enjoy your own company. When silence feels spacious rather than empty, you stop experiencing singleness as a deficit to be filled. The relationship would need to add something real to a life that is already, honestly, quite good. And that bar is higher than most people realize until they've lived it. Reason 3, and this one hits differently for people who've lived it, they have seen what bad love looks like up close. A parent's unhappy marriage. A relationship of their own that slowly chipped away at who they were. A friend whose entire identity disappeared into a partnership that drained rather than grew them. These experiences don't make people afraid of love. They make people afraid of the counterfeit. The relationship that ticks a social checkbox while quietly costing everything that matters. Someone who has watched a bad long-term relationship from the inside learns something most people don't learn until it's too late: being alone is not the worst possible outcome. Being in the wrong relationship for the wrong reasons, for years, is worse. And they'd rather wait. Now for the honest one, because this video wouldn't be complete without it. Some people stay single because they are not yet emotionally available for a real relationship. Not because of a character flaw, but because something earlier left a mark that hasn't fully healed. An attachment wound from childhood. A relationship that broke trust in a deep way. Grief that hasn't finished its work. These aren't permanent states. They are processes. And here is what's important to understand. Choosing to stay single while you're in that process is not avoidance. It is, in many cases, the most responsible and self-aware thing a person can do. Entering a relationship before you're ready doesn't fix what's unhealed. It usually just gives the wound a new location to express itself. Reason 5, their life is genuinely full, and a relationship would require a real, significant reorganization of something they've carefully built. This is perhaps the most overlooked reason of all. Some people who are single are not waiting passively. They have built careers with intention, friendships with depth, creative lives, travel habits, routines and rhythms that sustain them. A relationship isn't something you simply slot in. It requires time, emotional space, compromise, and adjustment. And for someone who has built a deeply satisfying independent life, the honest question isn't, why am I still single? It's, what would a relationship genuinely add here that isn't already present? That question deserves a real answer before making room for something that changes everything. Here's what the research actually shows, because it consistently challenges the cultural narrative around singleness. Studies from multiple universities found that long-term single people tend to have stronger and more invested friendships than people in couples, who often gradually deprioritize their broader social world. Single people score higher on measures of self-knowledge and personal growth investment. And critically, the happiness gap between people who are single and people who are in relationships is significantly smaller than most people assume, particularly among people who have chosen singleness rather than having it happen to them. The data does not support the cultural story that single equals incomplete. It supports something far more nuanced. Here's the thing almost nobody says out loud, because our culture has a very difficult time accepting it: some people are single because they have genuinely, consciously, deliberately chosen it, not as a backup plan, not while they wait for the right person, but as an actual preference for how they want to live their life right now. This is not a rationalization. It is not denial. It is a valid, self-aware, adult decision that is made far more often than social norms allow people to admit. The expectation that every person must pair up, that coupling is the destination and everything else is just a stop along the way, that expectation belongs to the culture, not to every individual within it. Some people looked honestly at what they want and chose differently. That deserves at least as much respect as any other honest life decision. People stay single for reasons that are as varied and as human as any other major life pattern. High standards that come from self-knowledge. A relationship with solitude that actually sustains them. Lessons learned from watching love go wrong. Healing that is still in progress. A life so genuinely full that there isn't a space that feels empty. A deliberate, honest choice. None of these are failures. None of them are waiting rooms. They are, each one, a real and legitimate relationship with a life, the only life any of us actually has. The question worth asking is not, why are you still single? The question worth asking is, does the life you have right now reflect what you actually value? Because that question applies to everyone, single or not. Are you single by choice or by circumstance? Tell me in the comments. And share this with someone who's tired of being asked the wrong question.